All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we got some serious questions we have to ask, and Vada, Victor Conti, and Terence Crawford got some answers that they need to give the boxing public so that that means me as a person, can feel comfortable about this big fight that's coming up between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. There's been several media reports that have come out that have raised some very serious questions because of some very serious inconsistencies that we have been seeing. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, the purpose of this video, let me be very clear at the outset of this, because this is a very dangerous topic, as there are certain people in the boxing world that are very litigious about people asking reasonable questions and sharing their reasonable opinions with the world. So let me tell you what the purpose of this video is: to ask questions. Not to give answers, but to ask questions and let you know that these are questions that are out there that are currently unanswered. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Also, thank you guys so much for everybody that supports in the super thanks videos like this. It goes a long way to helping the channel continue to go. Because as you know, I get attacked a lot for telling you guys what I consider to be the truth and giving you my honest opinion. So let's continue in that vein, despite the fact that certain people want to pressure me into not asking questions, not sharing opinions. Two media members, one by the name of Boxing Ego, terrific YouTube channel. I suggest that you subscribe and follow him on all his social platforms. And Manager Marty, also excellent YouTube content creator. I advise you to subscribe and follow him. Very intellectual guy, understands what's going on in the sport of boxing, and I do believe a very honest guy. The two of them asked separate questions on separate days, but I have to repeat the questions. I'm going to repeat these questions together because I have done my research and these questions are out there and they are major, major questions. The first, which I've already done a video on, is related to Terence Crawford and Terence Crawford's testing for this Canelo Alvarez fight. His PED testing with Vada, the voluntary anti-doping agency. There was a report that was leaked. Now, it's important that you know this, that it was leaked. It's not validated that it came from Vada, but it was leaked, in which it said that Terence Crawford had passed his test in June of 2025, right? Terence Crawford passed a PED test, negative results, in June of 2025. Only problem, the letter was dated as of June of 2024. How could you have sent a letter out in June of 2024 about a test that will not have taken place for another year? So Boxing Ego asked a reasonable question, and this question should be answered. Was that a technical error? Was an administrative error and they just didn't change the date? Or was this a case to attempt to fool people by putting a test result on an old form by some type of Photoshop method or whatever, and they made an oversight and forgot to change the year? This is not an accusation for all of the, litigated minded people out there. It's just a reasonable question that Boxing Ego asked that should be answered. Now, that is not the only question that should be answered. Manager Marty, shout out to Manager Marty, and I shall be having a phone conversation with Manager Marty, who I'm undoubtedly explain this and it's better than I can. However, I did check what was said, which was that Terence Crawford, according to the Vada website, does not have a negative result mentioned for him on the Vada website since October 22nd of 2020. It is now August 4th of 2025. So if you just look at Vada's website, you would think, man, has he tested in the last 5 years? It doesn't say it on the website. Now, again, this could be just an administrative error. It could be a way that they just don't want to repeat the people every single solitary time they test. And the first time that they test, they just leave them there and don't ever change it. That possibly could be the case. However, that is still a question that needs to be answered. You know why? Because Victor Conti himself, if I recall correctly, used to chastise the WBC and people about not having their test results updated, I do believe, on BoxRec. If you recall, BoxRec has a little button, little check mark that says Vada tested. So I can't remember who it was, but somebody with the PBC did not have Vada testing on their BoxRec, and Victor Conti, if not Victor Conti, many other people said, where exactly does it say that he's Vada tested? It doesn't say that on BoxRec, right? So if it wasn't, and then Victor Conti also talked about how the PBC doesn't release their testing results, how they keep it to themselves and they don't release it. Now, I don't get this. If they don't release it, then you are saying that Terence Crawford should be releasing it. But if Terence Crawford's releasing it, then why isn't it been marked updated on the website for Vada since 2020? See, there's no conclusion that I'm going to draw from these questions. However, there are reasonable questions that could be answered, or I'm not going to draw conclusions from these things. I'm just going to say, hey, in both instances, to explain it, it looks like it's sloppy paperwork. At the very least, it looks like very sloppy paperwork on the part of Vada. Number one, how is Vada getting the test results leaked? That's a problem. And my understanding is that Victor Conti is the one that is actually leaking them. That is my understanding, right? According to the reports that I heard, Victor Conti is the one that is leaking the result. I've also seen Victor Conti post these things in the past. So why aren't they being updated on the Vada website? Why are they being updated by other people having to leak the results instead of just putting them on your website for everybody to see? It makes people ask a lot of questions about the organization to see whether or not it is wondering whether or not it's a legitimate organization or not. There's all kind of questions around Vada. Anyway, that's my take. And I would ask that you guys pay attention to these videos and see if you can start noticing funny things around this testing. Isn't it already funny enough that Vada is associated with Victor Conti in any way, shape, form, and fashion? Even though Victor Conti on one breath claims that he's with Vada, and the next breath seems to me as if he denies it and saying, oh, the idea that I have anything to do with Vada testing is ridiculous. You founded Vada. You said that you got together the people to establish Vada, Victor. So how is it unreasonable for people to think that you have inside connections in Vada? You can't just say it doesn't happen and think people have to believe you. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.